Today on the podcast, I'm welcoming back Coach Stamper to talk about his brand new strength and conditioning course at masterbooksacademy.com. You may already be familiar with Coach Stamper, who is the instructor over at masterbooksacademy.com for our PE courses. We have PE courses for K through 8th grade students and his introduction to geocaching course. So we hope that you're already familiar with those. If not, check it out. Today, we're going to talk about how you having access to this strength and conditioning course is going to help your student grow stronger, more confident, and enjoy working out and being fit. So let's get started. Welcome to the Master Books podcast, where we bring you conversations that will strengthen your biblical worldview and the faith of your family. I'm Jennifer White, publicist at Master Books, a division of New Leaf Publishing Group. As host of this show, I'll be opening the doors to the Master Books family library of books, authors, and curriculum. For over 45 years, our company has been about one thing: ink on paper to touch eternity. In a world increasingly at war with God, we are publishing to partner with you to disciple your family, the church, and the nations. Coach Stamper is here on the podcast with me today to talk about how your middle school and high school students can use his strength and conditioning course to help them build confidence, build strength, and just enjoy being a teenager more. So welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer, for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. And thank you for being an instructor for homeschool families at masterbooksacademy.com. We love the fact that our students have access to physical education, even though they're homeschooled. Because of your courses, they can do this with their own family. If they're individual, if they have one student or 5 students, they can have them work together and very affordably do physical education and now strength training. So tell us a little bit about the course and why you did it for middle and high school students. And so we want to know why they need the course, but then what could happen if they don't choose to learn what you're teaching?
Well, sure. Thank you. As you already mentioned, we have the K through 8 PE courses. So this course is kind of a good kind of next step. PE kind of focuses more on skills, whereas this course is kind of a little more mature. So throughout my teaching and coaching career, I've done a lot of coaching. I coached track and field for 9 years, varsity track and field, baseball, swimming, basketball, cross country. So I started to notice trends throughout my career, especially with middle school and incoming freshmen. I noticed that middle schoolers and incoming freshmen or new freshmen rarely had experience in training, particularly in strength training in the weight room. Few students had like proper technique for basic exercises like squats and lunges, let alone an understanding for how the body works, the systems, and then all the different training methods. So I wanted to address all of those issues with this course and at least get that process started in middle school or high school. As you mentioned earlier, I think this course is ideal for the middle school, high school age range, for anyone who's wanting to get stronger, improve their fitness level, or just become more comfortable with working out. Sometimes it can be intimidating, especially if you're working out with someone who maybe is a little more experienced, you might shy away from that. So this course will kind of give you the tools and the resources to reach your goals. Without a course like this or proper understanding, students are at a higher risk of injury, whether that be from improper technique, getting hurt doing exercises, overtraining, kind of not knowing the limits, and workouts will kind of be less efficient. You could kind of waste a little time, spin some wheels. I like to think of it as shooting an arrow at a target while blindfolded. You might hit the bullseye, but you're probably going to miss. So if you don't have a proper understanding of strength and conditioning, you might have some success, but you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to get there.
Okay. That makes sense. And I know that the families listening to the podcast today don't want to see their child get hurt, and they may have some concerns about their student working out or going with some other students to work out and being injured. And then, the effects of that long term could be, but at Masterbooks, with the Masterbooks method of education, we're always wanting to build in confidence. We're wanting to build in delight in learning. And so I can see how your course can help the student do that, and building a love for conditioning and strengthening for the rest of their life. So I really love that they're going to have that.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that's one of the short-term and long-term outcomes, is that students gain that confidence early on, and then they carry that with them. Confidence can breed success, and success breeds confidence. So the two kind of work together. So I hope
Mhm.
to establish that right away in this course.
Right. So tell us how the course is laid out, and do you instruct everything? Does the parent need to be involved in every lesson? How many lessons a week? Tell us how this is laid out for the family.
All right. So I'm kind of thinking of those students who maybe this is their first time getting to know this subject area. So my strategy was to cover the highlights,
Mhm.
focus on the most common, most important, most relevant concepts to them right now and then moving forward. So I wanted to provide a structure to help those students build their workouts and a program. You got to have a firm foundation, right? The biblical truth right there. Um, but I also wanted to leave lots of space for students to be creative. Being creative with sports or exercise is one of my favorite things. As a teacher, I always love to provide opportunities for students to be themselves and create, because I think it's more rewarding in the end. So there's freedom built into the structure. That's how I like to think of it, because I'm personally a pretty structured person, but I also like freedom. So I think it's a good, healthy balance. How this course is laid out, there is one video lesson per week, and it's pretty short, 5 to 10 minute lesson. This is where I discuss the material that you can find in the lesson binder. The lesson binder is one of the documents that you have the option to print off or just open up every week. So I'll just kind of discuss that material, and then the material we discuss in the lesson, we will use to build our workout for that week. So we're going to talk about it, understand it, and then put it into practice. In the first semester, the first half of the course, we're going to learn about the nuts and bolts of strength and conditioning. So what do I mean by that? By nuts and bolts, it's kind of how the body works, how the
Okay.
different systems work, each
Mhm.
individual system, how they work together. And
Mhm.
then we're going to talk about how they can be trained. So we need to know about the different training methods. So we're
Mhm.
going to talk about all of those things in the first semester, having specific workouts each week, all along the way. And then in the second semester, the student becomes the coach. We're going to take all of that knowledge, all of our experience from the first 18 weeks, and now you're becoming the coach. So in the second semester, each week, students are presented with a different sport or activity, and they must design a workout that's tailored to that particular activity. So, for example, in week 19, the
Mhm.
lesson is on football. So, in that lesson, students will learn about the different physical demands of football,
Okay.
the necessary skills, the types of training methods that a football player might use. And then they'll take all of that information and design and complete their own football specific workout. So on one end, they'll be the coach. And then when they're done designing the workout, they're going to go ahead and be that athlete, that football player, and do their workout. So they kind of get a full circle, well-rounded. They get to see it from all sides, sort of
Mhm.
experience.
So is this for girls and boys? Do you see both girls and boys doing this course?
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. It's not necessarily about sports or
Okay.
any particular activity. These are just the idea is in the second semester from weeks 19 to 36,
Mhm.
cover a lot of different things, right? We're going to have lessons. It's not just all ball sports or team sports or even sports in general. It could just be physical activities.
Okay.
So the goal was to give a well-rounded program.
Mhm.
I want students to get experience in a lot of different things. And students are going to find things, hopefully, they're going to find things that they enjoy, maybe things that they didn't know they liked. Hopefully, they're going to find things that they enjoy, and then they're going to figure out things that they really don't like. So they're going to get to know themselves, they're going to get to know their likes, dislikes, and that's something that could carry on for the rest of their life. You might
Absolutely.
find things that you really like that you'll want to do when you're 20, 30, 50, and
Mhm.
60.
Well, I can see how valuable that would be because often you would invest a good deal of money in your child taking a certain type of sport or getting involved in a certain type of sport, only to find out they didn't really like it or they weren't physically cut out for it and all these things. So, in your course, perhaps they get this smattering understanding of these different sports and different types of physical activity, finding something that they may enjoy a lot, and then building their life or their interest or their hobbies on that.
In addition to the weekly video lessons, I talked about building workouts. There is a weekly workout video as well. This is kind of putting things into practice, getting active. So
Mhm.
in the workout videos, I typically demonstrate my specific workout plan because students will see me designing my own workout, and then
Okay.
they can kind of take, tidbits here and there to apply to their own workouts. Um, and in these workout videos, I kind of talk about the nuances of working out, the kind of things that you might not know unless you go out and actually do it.
Mhm.
But the videos aren't necessarily follow along videos. They're more so meant to help students kind of visualize and understand, how to work out.
Mhm.
So we have the video lessons, the workout videos. There are kind of two other important activities in this course.
Okay.
One is review activities. Every 6 weeks, we have a review activity. We have 6-week sections in this course. So every section kind of has a theme or a focus. So at the end of each section, there's just a short review activity, open note. I want you all to get the right answers, but it's just to emphasize again the highlights of that section and the big takeaways that I want you to have moving forward. In addition to the review activities, we have coaches corner activities. This
Okay.
is something I also did in the intro to geocaching course. In the coaches corner activities, we connect our lessons from the
Mhm.
course with biblical lessons or biblical truths. Um, I like to say, like, if we stop and we reflect, we pay attention to what we're doing, there's always a lesson that we can learn. Um, and again, all of these documents can be printed out. The lesson binder, the workout binder, the review activities, the coaches corner activities. But if you want to save paper, you don't have to do that. You just open up the PDFs. In terms of parental involvement,
Mhm.
the coaches corner activities is probably where parents will be most involved because the coaches corner activities ask students to have conversations about biblical lessons and how we can relate them to what we're doing in this course. So it would be ideal to have that parental supervision, that guidance in those conversations. Other than that, the parental involvement's kind of as needed. I'm the instructor. I'm going to be there in the video lessons and workout videos, but I can't really interact, in live. So
Mhm.
it's kind of as needed, meaning a student might need to ask permission to, do a workout somewhere, etc. But parents are welcome to join in and do the
Okay.
weekly workouts right alongside their children, of course. Equipment is minimal. I always try to keep equipment requirements minimal. They're not required. I don't ask you to go out and buy anything.
Mhm.
Um, Again, going back to that creativity aspect, creativity is a big part of all my courses because every family, every home is different when you're homeschooling, and we all have access to different resources.
Mhm.
So I always encourage students to kind of be creative. For example, students are going to see me. Yeah, I'll use equipment like resistance bands and dumbbells, but I'll also use things like broomsticks, from my
Okay.
broom closet or a soccer ball, just kind of improvising, finding things that work. Uh, so if I were parents or students, I would do a few workouts, a few weeks, get some experience in there, and then you're going to start to figure out, how to add in certain things that you really need. I wouldn't go buy things right away.
Makes sense, and I love that it's affordable And you can
Yeah,
just get started and kind of decide, well, I want to invest in something, or I really don't want to invest in something
sure.
else right now. So it's a 36-week course, right?
Right.
So what differences will a parent and the student see at the end of the 36 weeks? What are they walking away from after they take this course?
Well, the big ones are confidence and know-how. We talked about confidence early on.
Mhm.
I hope that students feel confident and they feel better about kind of taking over control of their own fitness now and then for the rest of their life, because
Mhm.
down the road, no one's going to come knocking on your door saying, "Hey, it's time, to work out." It's going to be on you. You're going to have to be motivated to do that, but you got to have the know-how. So I
Mhm.
hope students are confident and they have the tools, you know, to build their own fitness programs. Before they know it, they're going to be doing it from scratch. Starting in week 6, students get to start designing their own workouts. So they're going to have 30 weeks of designing their own workouts. They're going to get a lot of experience in this course. And of course, I'll be there to kind of guide them. Parents can expect students to have structure. Okay, I'm going to have templates for students to fill out. There's going to be a structured approach to building each workout. But as I mentioned, students get to make choices. They're going to have lots of options and they get to really think it through. They get to consider what they like. Maybe they want to try something new. They get that freedom within the structure to make those choices. So parents should expect that. There's going to be structure, but also freedom.
I love that.
Yeah.
So with the structure, okay, well, here's a question.
Okay.
Will a student finish this course physically stronger?
Yes, they should. Yes. If you work out regularly 2, 3 times a week
Mhm.
and you're targeting these major muscle groups and you're doing it, safely and progressively, consistently, uh,
Mhm.
you will get stronger. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any kind of assessment of where they start and where they finish about how strong, how they've increased or improved?
That's a tough one to answer. It's different from the PE courses. The PE courses were targeted to the Presidential Youth Fitness Program, where
Mhm.
we had the kind of regular testing. This one is because there will be a record of their workouts. Each week, students are going to write and design their own workouts. They're going to see how many reps they did, how many sets they did, what equipment they used. So over time, they get to kind of refer back to what they've done in the past. So my hope is that by the end of each section, by the end of each semester, by the end of the school year, they're going to look back and say, "Wow, I can't believe that's where I started, and this is where
Mhm.
I am now." Um, but the kind of, like you said, assessments and tests, I like to think they're kind of built in to workouts because you, like, say, take push-ups for example. How many
Okay.
push-ups are we going to do in this particular workout? If it's a timed exercise, it kind of depends on the exercise that we're doing or the type of training method we're doing. If it's for time, you could test yourself there. Maybe this time I did 10 push-ups in 1 minute. In a month from now, maybe I can do 20 push-ups in 1 minute. So the evaluations are always there. It's just not going to be a formal
Mhm.
presidential youth fitness type of evaluation.
I see. So long term, let's say a parent invests in this course for their child's very affordable course, their whole family, anybody, middle school to high school, even adults can take it. They have 18 months to complete the course or to continue having another child go through the course. But let's say, like 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, this student who took this course, how will they be different than if they had not taken this course?
Well, I think of two things right away. One, hopefully they're going to find things that they enjoy. If you
Mhm.
enjoy an activity, you're more likely to do it. And even as an adult, I have discovered activities that I really, really like that I wish I had done when I was a kid. Things like tennis and golf. Um, so I hope that through trying all these different workouts and exercises and activities, students will find things that they like because you're more likely to do it for the rest of your life. So
Mhm.
lifetime fitness is one benefit. Number two is I'm trying to expose kids to these ideas early, middle school, high school, so that they're not playing catch up when they get to high school or adulthood, and they're kind of a little, they lack that confidence to kind of get started.
Mhm.
If you're not really confident, you're kind of dreading, exercising, you're going to be less likely to go do it.
Sure.
So I want to at least get that process started right now. so that they're better prepared moving forward. I was thinking about it like this. If there's a construction site and we're building a house, and a 15-year-old is hired just as a helper, to carry lumber and maybe hammer a few nails, but they don't get any of the tools until the day they show up to the job, they're going to be way unprepared, right? They're
Mhm.
probably going to hurt themselves or get injured, and they're not going to be very helpful. They're going to make lots of mistakes and kind of slow down the process. But if they get those tools in advance, they have an opportunity to practice, build some things at home. Then when they get to that job site, they're going to be ready to go. So that's how I think of this course. It's like giving you the tools early on, letting you practice, letting you have some experience, have some fun, be creative, build some things. Then when you put it to practice, you're ready to go, right? You're going to be
Mhm.
more productive, and it's going to be more fun. So that's kind of how I think of this course, getting it started early and then
Mhm.
being more successful as you move forward.
Absolutely. And one of the things that comes to my mind, Randy talks often about just having a little bit of swagger about your own homeschool, like we've got this. We do this. This is who we are. And we're not second rate because we homeschool. And so I see this course as being something that builds that foundational of confidence, which we've been talking about. So when a student goes to the gym or does a team sport in the community, they walk into it with that swagger, with I got this.
Sure.
I've been exposed to working out and to this sport, and so that's exciting to me that it gives one more bit of confidence or strength or foundation, like you said, for the family to go into the community and show how great homeschooling can be, that
Yeah,
they're not lacking in anything.
absolutely. And that right there, you can take a biblical spiritual truth just from that right there. If you're a Christian, you've lived for the Lord at all, certainly you've seen him kind of come through or, meet a need or answer a prayer. So you have that experience to draw from. He's done it once before, he can do it again.
Mhm.
Apply that to this course or, exercise or working out or taking on a sport. You've done it before, you're going to have that confidence you can do it again moving forward. So again, drawing those biblical spiritual lessons, from physical activity. That's fun, and it's more real. It kind of makes it real to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Well, as we wrap up the show, do you have any advice for the homeschool parent or the student?
Well, for the student, I want to remind them that it's a gradual process. We all
Mhm.
want the overnight success. We want the overnight quick results, but fitness it's kind of a lifelong thing. So it's going to take weeks, months, even years to see great results. You're
Mhm.
going to have success every day, but the big results take time. So be patient. And then for parents and students, my advice would be as a teacher and a coach, I would say allow students to try new things and make mistakes because mistakes can be a great teacher. I
Yes.
know sometimes as a teacher and a coach myself, I'm sure it's the same for parents. We try to prevent kids from, making a mistake or failing because we want to protect them. We want them to succeed. Uh, and I'm not talking about letting students get injured, or break their leg,
No.
but I'm talking about letting the student make choices, letting the
Mhm.
student get invested, make their own decisions, and letting them try new things because it'll mean more to them in the end, right? If you're invested up front, you're going to be less likely to quit in the end because you've put so much in. So let them make mistakes. It's okay. They can learn from it. You're not going to Students are not going to want to waste their own time. So if they're invested and they're intentional on their learning, they're going to see good results in the end. And finally, I mean, one last thing that I often told my students and athletes was don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. If we lose a game or we make a mistake somewhere, it's not wasted as long as we learn something from it. If we take away a lesson, then we didn't waste our time. We learned. Okay.
Right.
But if you make a mistake or you're discouraged and it causes you to kind of shut down, you get mad, then and if you learn nothing from it, then yeah, you really did waste your time. But mistakes aren't a bad thing. Just take the
Mhm.
time to, reflect and learn from it, then you'll be better. You'll be better next time.
Absolutely. And those of you who are listening who listen to Randy's teaching tips every week, he talks a lot about growth hacking. And that simple act of growth hacking is trying something new. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't, cull it and, find the next thing to try.
Yeah.
So you have to try it or you won't know. And sometimes we get locked down in fear of failing and we don't execute or get anywhere because we just didn't take a chance.
Yeah.
And we know that the moms of Masterbooks, the families of Masterbooks are taking a huge chance in homeschooling. They are taking a chance at educating their children and, making a sacrifice and doing something that's out of the box. And we just want to applaud you for that and give you honor and bless you for the decisions you're making that will impact your own child's eternity, their own soul, their future, and then those who they touch as they pour out the light of God that you are investing, putting into them through the courses that we've designed with a biblical worldview. And I love that your courses, Coach Stamper, have those spiritual principles written into them.
Well, thank you for all that. I think that's the most important part, is taking away something that's gonna, if anything can make your walk with the Lord closer, that's awesome. And that's infinitely valuable, right? It has infinite eternal value.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to do that, in these courses with Masterbooks is amazing for me at this point in my career, having been in public education most of my career. I so much appreciate the opportunities that I have here. So I'm really excited for this course. I think it's the best one yet. And I hope students and parents enjoy it. And I hope to hear, good stories coming from it.
Absolutely. It would be fun to come back in a few months and have you and a few students talk about the course and what they're learning. And
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun. Well, thank you, Coach Stamper, for being here with us today and being on the podcast before. We enjoy having your perspective and your skills as part of the Masterbooks offerings. And we just want to thank all of you for being a part of the show, listening every week. We come out with a new show every Monday at 5 a.m. And you can find us at podcast.masterbooks.com, as well as all of the places that people listen to podcasts. We would love it if you review our podcast today and let other people know that you found it worthy of listening to. We want to invest in you and in your family. And this is just one of the many ways we do that. We hope that you will check out our Masterbooks app. You can download that on Google Play or iTunes. We also have the Moms of Masterbooks Facebook group. Both of those places are opportunities for you to get in there and ask other people questions about our curriculum, how to use it, how it's working, what to do in your specific situation. So we just welcome you. We welcome you to ask your questions, to be a part of our growing community of people who have given their lives to investing the Bible, the truth, the way into their families' lives. So thanks again for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for joining the Masterbooks podcast. This was fun, and we are really glad you were with us. We invite you to check out masterbooks.com. We have a big library of books that will feed the faith of your family. And hey, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss an episode. We'll see you next time.